I was spending $10,000 every single month just to keep my coaching business alive. It was a relentless financial bleed that felt impossible to stop. Every invoice that landed in my inbox was another reminder of the suffocating overhead. The dream of entrepreneurial freedom had been replaced by the reality of being chained to my expenses. I found myself staring at dashboards filled with red numbers, each one a tiny cut that added up to a gaping wound in my profit margins. The constant pressure was immense, a weight on my shoulders that never went away, not even in the dead of night. It was a high-stakes game. Every month felt like a gamble just to break even. The financial strain was only part of the story. To justify the astronomical costs, I was working grueling 60-hour weeks. My calendar was a chaotic mess of back-to-back calls, manual data entry, endless administrative tasks. I was the CEO, I was the marketer, I was the customer support agent, I was the bookkeeper. The late nights became my new normal. The glow of my laptop screen was the last thing I saw before collapsing into bed. The hamster wheel never stopped spinning. I was running faster and faster, just to stay in the same place. My passion for coaching was being slowly eroded by the sheer exhaustion of managing the business itself. So when I picked up The Power of AI for Business Leaders, I wasn't looking for some sci-fi, futuristic fantasy. I was desperate. I was looking for a lifeline, a practical, actionable way to stop the financial bleeding that was threatening to sink my entire business. And I found it in Chapter 4. This chapter wasn't about complex algorithms or coding. It was about something much more fundamental, measuring the impact of any change with cold, hard ROI metrics. Victoria Summers lays out a framework that is so critical because it addresses the number one reason most businesses fail when they try to adopt new technology. They implement it blindly, with no way to measure if it's actually working. They buy the shiny new tool, but they never connect it to real business outcomes. They end up with more complexity, more subscriptions, and no tangible improvement to their bottom line. This framework prevents that. It forces you to be strategic, to be data-driven, and to hold every single dollar you invest accountable for its return. It's a 5-step process that transformed my business, and I'm going to walk you through each one. Step 1 is to baseline your current costs. Before you can solve a problem, you have to see it clearly. You need to know, down to the penny, exactly what you're spending right now. And this isn't just about the obvious dollar amounts on your credit card statements. It's also about the hidden, insidious cost of your time. I created a detailed spreadsheet, and I'll link a template for you in the description below, where I became a forensic accountant for my own business. For 2 solid weeks, I tracked every single expense, and just as importantly, every hour my team and I spent on repetitive, non-revenue generating tasks. The results were a gut punch. What I discovered shocked me. I was spending a staggering 15 hours a week just on email responses and routine client check-ins. 15 hours. That's nearly 2 full workdays spent on tasks that were necessary, but weren't moving the needle on growth. When I did the math at my effective hourly rate, that translated to $2,500 a week in pure opportunity cost. That was money I wasn't earning because my time was trapped in my inbox. That's $10,000 a month of potential revenue, just vanishing. This single insight was worth the entire exercise. It showed me the beast wasn't just my overhead, it was how I was spending my most valuable asset, my time. Step 2. Identify high-impact, low-risk areas. The book has a brilliant quadrant model for this, plotting tasks by impact versus complexity. The goal is to find the low-hanging fruit. You don't start by trying to automate complex creative work or nuanced strategic decisions. That's a recipe for disaster. Instead, the book emphasizes starting with processes that are highly repetitive, incredibly time-consuming, and crucially, don't require complex human judgment. These are the tasks that follow predictable, rule-based patterns. For me, after my baseline analysis, the targets were crystal clear. First, client intake and onboarding, a series of predictable steps for every new client. Second, email responses to common questions. The same 12 questions made up over 70% of my inbox. Third, scheduling and calendar management, a logistical nightmare of back-and-forth emails. Fourth, content repurposing, taking one video and turning it into 10 other assets. And fifth, basic customer support, answering simple questions about logins or resources. These were perfect candidates for AI automation because they were essentially robotic tasks I was paying humans, including myself, a premium to perform. They were high impact because they consumed so much time, and low risk because the rules for executing them were simple and clear. Step 3 is to calculate your target ROI. This is the accountability step. Victoria recommends aiming for a minimum of 200% ROI in the first 90 days. Let me break that down. It means that for every $1,000 you invest in AI tools and implementation, you should be able to prove that you saved or generated at least $2,000 in that same time frame. This isn't a vague goal, it's a hard metric. It forces you to ask, will this investment pay for itself twice over within a single quarter? Honestly, 200% felt too safe for me. I was desperate. My back was against the wall. So I set my personal target at 300%. I needed to see $3 back for every single dollar I spent. This wasn't just a number, it was my survival metric. If I couldn't hit that, I knew I would have to make drastic cuts, maybe even shut down parts of my business. This high target sharpened my focus and forced me to be ruthless in prioritizing only the most impactful automations. Step 4. Implement with minimal disruption. This is where most people screw up. In a burst of enthusiasm, they try to automate everything at once. They rip out old systems and plug in 10 new ones, and the result is pure chaos for their team and their clients. The business grinds to a halt. The book's strategy is the complete opposite. It advocates for a methodical, phased approach. You implement one system at a time, in focused 2-week sprints. You test it, you measure the results, you stabilize it, and only then do you move on to the next one. I followed this religiously. It felt slow at first, but it was the key to maintaining sanity and control. Weeks 1 and 2 were dedicated solely to the AI email assistant. Weeks 3 and 4 focused on the AI scheduling system. Weeks 5 and 6 were all about the AI client onboarding workflow, and so on. This sprint-based approach allowed me to isolate variables, measure the impact of each change accurately, and ensure that one system was working perfectly before I layered on the next. It builds momentum without creating mayhem. Finally, step 5. Track and adjust. An AI system isn't a crockpot you just set and forget. It's a living part of your business that requires monitoring and refinement. Every single Friday, without fail, I blocked out 30 minutes on my calendar for a weekly review. This meeting with myself was non-negotiable. I would pull up my simple tracking spreadsheet and ask the hard questions. How much time did I actually save this week? How much money did I save in reduced labor or subscription costs? What broke? What client feedback did I get? What worked even better than I expected? This constant feedback loop is what allows you to go from a 50% effective system in week 1 to a 95% effective system by week 4. It's where you turn a good investment into an incredible one. This 5-step framework, baseline, identify, target, implement, and track, is the engine that drove my entire transformation. I finally had to admit a harsh truth. The business I had built, the one I was pouring my life into, wasn't a profit-generating machine. It was a cash consumption engine. The system was designed to consume cash, not generate profit efficiently. Every new client, every new project, seemed to demand more resources, more software, more hours, more money. It felt like I was running on a treadmill, working harder and harder just to stay in the same place, watching my bank account hover precariously close to zero at the end of each month. The stress was immense. I was chasing revenue, celebrating top-line growth, but ignoring the gaping hole in the bottom of the bucket. That moment of brutal honesty, that forensic audit of my own creation, was the critical turning point. It wasn't just about looking at a spreadsheet, it was a fundamental shift in my entire philosophy as an entrepreneur. I had been so caught up in the hustle culture mantra of more clients, more revenue, more growth, that I had completely missed the most important lever for profitability. It shifted my focus from increasing revenue to obsessively scrutinizing costs. I realized that a dollar saved is more valuable than a dollar earned, because that dollar saved drops directly to the bottom line, pure profit, with no associated cost of acquisition or delivery. This wasn't about being cheap, it was about being intelligent, strategic, and ruthless in the pursuit of efficiency. I was about to declare war on waste. The problem wasn't lack of income, it was lack of efficiency. My business was generating healthy revenue, but it was being devoured by operational drag. It was like trying to power a sports car with a leaky fuel line. You can keep pouring more and more expensive fuel in, but you'll never reach top speed, and you'll run out of gas far sooner than you should. My leaky fuel line was a collection of manual processes, redundant tasks, and an over-reliance on human labor for things that a machine could do better, faster, and for a fraction of the cost. Looking at my expense breakdown, which I had so painfully compiled, was no longer a source of anxiety. It was a treasure map. Each pie slice represented an opportunity, where AI and automation could cut the fat and build a leaner, smarter, profitable operation. The virtual assistant slice wasn't just a cost, it was a signal of repetitive tasks. The software subscription slice wasn't just an expense, it was a sign of a disconnected tech stack. Every line item was a clue pointing toward a more streamlined future, and there it was, staring me in the face, clear as day. The single biggest line item on my expense report was the $3,000 I spent on virtual assistants. This wasn't a small incidental cost. This was nearly a third of my entire monthly overhead, all tied up in human-powered processes. And as I dug deeper, I realized it wasn't just a cost. It represented a massive vulnerability in my business model. This single expense was the anchor holding my business back, preventing it from ever achieving true, scalable profitability. It was the very definition of the linear scaling trap I mentioned earlier. I was caught in the classic virtual assistant trap. It's a trap many entrepreneurs fall into with the best of intentions. We're told to delegate, don't abdicate, to work on our business, not in it. So we hire people. But we delegate broken, inefficient processes to them. We hire humans to act like robots, performing the same mind-numbing, repetitive tasks day in and day out. I hired people to handle repetitive tasks like managing my calendar, responding to initial client inquiries, onboarding new customers, and posting content to social media. These are all necessary functions, but they are also predictable, rule-based, and data-driven, the perfect storm for automation. I was using expensive, creative, human intelligence to perform tasks that required none of it. While my VAs were hardworking and dedicated, I was fundamentally paying for their time, not for the results they produced. This is a critical distinction that most business owners miss. The entire model was flawed from the ground up. If a task took them 3 hours, I paid for 3 hours. It didn't matter if they were distracted, if the process was clunky, or if they were having a slow day. The incentive was, consciously or not, to fill the time. There was no built-in drive for efficiency. I paid for their effort, regardless of whether a more efficient system could have done it in minutes. An AI, on the other hand, doesn't get paid by the hour. It executes a task. The result is delivered instantly, 24/7, without breaks or benefits. You pay for the result, not the time it takes to achieve it. This model directly tied my business's capacity to the number of human hours I could afford to buy. It created a perfectly linear relationship between my expenses and my revenue. To grow, I had to spend more. To spend more, I had to grow. I was stuck. This reliance on manual labor created a significant bottleneck. It wasn't just about the direct cost, it was about the opportunity cost. The model was inherently unscalable. My business could only grow as fast as my team could handle the workload. There was a hard ceiling on my capacity. To take on 10 more clients, I needed to hire more VA hours. To launch a new program, I needed more admin support. Every step forward required a corresponding increase in my largest expense category. This created a direct linear relationship between growth and expenses, keeping my profit margins perpetually thin. No matter how much revenue I brought in, the margin percentage stayed stubbornly low because the cost to deliver the service grew at almost the same rate. I was essentially renting human-powered processes instead of building automated assets. Every month, that $3,000 was gone. It was rent. It didn't build any equity in my business. An automated system, however, is an asset. Once built, it works for you indefinitely with minimal ongoing cost, becoming more valuable over time. And the hidden cost, the one that doesn't show up on any P&L statement, was my own time. I found myself spending more time managing my team, creating standard operating procedures, and checking their work than I was spending on high-value activities like strategy, sales, and serving my clients at the highest level. I had become a manager of low-level tasks, the very thing I was trying to escape by starting my own business. This realization was the catalyst for creating my 90-day rollout plan. It was a structured, methodical approach to systematically dismantling my inefficient, human-powered systems and replacing them with intelligent, automated assets. The goal was simple: break the linear link between growth and expenses, and build a business that grew more profitable as it scaled. The plan was divided into 3 distinct phases. Phase 1, the first 30 days, was all about foundation. This involved the deep audit, identifying the highest impact, lowest risk tasks to automate first, and establishing our baseline metrics for cost and time. Phase 2, days 31 to 60, was automation. This is where we would build, test, and deploy the new AI systems in 2-week sprints, focusing on one core process at a time to minimize disruption and ensure quality control. And Phase 3, days 61 to 90, was optimization. This was about refining the automated systems, integrating them so they work together seamlessly, and analyzing the data to quantify our savings and ROI. This wasn't a vague hope, it was a concrete, actionable plan. And it all started by recognizing that the biggest liability in my business, my reliance on manual labor, was also my single greatest opportunity for transformation. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that sounds great in theory, but show me the actual numbers. Fair enough. Let me walk you through the exact case study from the book that inspired my approach, and then I'll show you my real results. Victoria Summers shares a manufacturing case study in Chapter 6 about predictive maintenance using AI. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm not in manufacturing, what does this have to do with coaching? Stay with me. This company was spending massive amounts on equipment, downtime, and reactive maintenance. They implemented an AI system that predicted when machines would fail before they actually failed. The result? They reduced downtime by 50% and achieved a 385% ROI within 90 days. Here's why this matters for coaches. The principle is identical. In coaching, our downtime is time spent on repetitive tasks that don't generate revenue. Our reactive maintenance is scrambling to respond to client emails at 10 p.m. or manually scheduling every single call. So I applied the same predictive, proactive approach to my business operations. My month 1 results: I started with email management. I implemented an AI email assistant that learned my writing style and handled 80% of routine client questions. Cost of AI tool, $79 month, time saved, 12 hours per week. Money saved from VA reduction, $1,000 month. Opportunity cost recovered, $2,000 month, 12 hours at my rate. Total month 1 savings, $2,921. But here's what really mattered. My clients couldn't tell the difference. Response times actually improved because the AI was available 24/7, and I personally handled only the complex high-value conversations. My month 2 results. Next, I tackled scheduling and calendar management. I set up an AI scheduling system that integrated with my CRM. Cost of AI tool, $29 month. Time saved, 6 hours per week. VA hours reduced, $500 month. Opportunity cost recovered, $1,000 month. Total month 2, additional savings, $1,471. My month 3, results. Client onboarding was my biggest time suck. I created an AI-powered onboarding sequence that collected information, sent welcome materials, scheduled first calls, and even did preliminary needs assessment. Cost of AI tool, $49 month. Time saved, 8 hours per week. VA hours eliminated, $800 month. Opportunity cost recovered, $1,333 month. Total month 3 additional savings, $2,084. Add it all up, I went from $10,000 month in operational costs to $5,157 month. That's $4,143 in monthly savings, or a 48.4% cost reduction. And my total investment in AI tools? $157 per month. That's a 3,082% ROI in 90 days. Way beyond Victoria's 200% target. Alright, let me give you the exact week-by-week breakdown of what I did, because this is where the rubber meets the road. You can follow this same timeline. Week 1 to 2, email automation setup. Day 1 to 3, I audited my last 200 client emails and categorized them. Turns out, 73% were asking the same 12 questions. Day 4 to 7, I set up my AI email assistant and trained it on my writing samples. I used about 50 of my previous emails so it could learn my tone and style. Day 8-14, testing phase. I had the AI draft responses, but I reviewed and edited every single one before sending. This was crucial. I needed to make sure the quality was there. Week 3 to 4, scheduling automation. Day 15 to 17, I mapped out my entire scheduling workflow. What types of calls do I take? What's my availability? What information do I need before a call? Day 18 to 21, I implemented the AI scheduling tool and connected it to my calendar, CRM, and email system. Day 22 to 28, I sent the scheduling link to new prospects and monitored how it worked, made adjustments to the qualifying questions and time slot options. Week 5 to 6, client onboarding automation. Day 29-31. I documented my entire onboarding process step by step. Every email, every form, every document I sent to new clients. Day 32 to 35. I built the AI-powered onboarding sequence with conditional logic. If a client answers X, they get workflow Y. Day 36-42. Soft launch with 3 new clients. Gathered feedback and refined the experience. Week 7-8. Content repurposing. Day 43-45. I set up an AI system to take my long-form content, like this video, and automatically create social posts, email newsletters, and blog summaries. Day 46-49, testing and quality control. Some AI-generated content was great, some needed heavy editing. Day 50-56, full implementation. Now every piece of content I create gets automatically repurposed into 10+ formats. Week 9-10, customer support automation. Day 57-60. I created a knowledge base of common support questions and answers. Day 61-63. Implemented an AI chatbot on my website that could handle basic questions and escalate complex ones to me. Day 64-70. Monitoring and improvement. The chatbot got smarter every week as it learned from real conversations. Week 11-12. Analytics and reporting. Day 71-77. I set up automated reporting dashboards so I could see my key metrics at a glance without manually pulling data. Day 78-84. Integrated all my AI tools so they talk to each other. This was the game changer. Everything worked together seamlessly. Week 13-14. Optimization and scaling. Day 85-90. I reviewed everything, identified bottlenecks, and fine-tuned the systems. This is where I hit that 48.4% cost reduction. The key lesson? I didn't try to do everything at once. Each 2-week sprint focused on one area, and I didn't move forward until that system was working smoothly. Now, let's talk about the tools, because I know that's what you really want to know. And here's the good news. You don't need a massive budget to do this. Victoria Summers emphasizes in her book that AI has become incredibly accessible for small businesses. You don't need enterprise-level solutions or 6-figure implementations. Here are the exact tools I used. For email management, I won't name specific brands, but look for AI email assistants that offer writing style learning, template customization. Tools. Recap. Email management. Look for writing style learning, templates, rules, and CRM integration, scheduling and calendar. Seek round-robin booking, buffer times, time zone handling, CRM and payment links. Client onboarding, forms, collection, automated welcome, checklists and conditional workflows. Content repurposing, transcripts to posts, auto captions, smart aspect ratios, and scheduler. Customer support, knowledge base, chatbot with escalation, ticketing integration, and analytics. Enjoyed this? Like and subscribe for more AI business strategies.